Good morning, if you can hear me. So today we are continuing from where we stopped yesterday. Yesterday we actually started paragraph 1, and for that on the paragraph 1 we were able to talk about paraphrasing and how to complete your paragraph 1. So this morning we shall begin by looking at paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so for paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, I just quickly want to take us through this complete paragraph 1, which was treated yesterday. So, paragraph 1 requires us to have 3 major things, which are the paraphrase. So here is the original question. So this original question states that some people argue that giving children access to computer helps them to improve in their intellectual and academic performances. Others think it causes laziness. Discuss both sides of this argument and give your own opinion. Now this is the question. And then the first thing we are supposed to do on the day of your exam is to paraphrase this question. That is, you are required to copy this question onto your answer sheet. But let me quickly explain. When you are copying the question, you are meant to stop at the concern raised or the argument raised. You're not meant to copy the part that is directed to you or at you, which you are supposed to treat or act on. Let's say, for instance, right here in on this question, we have the concern or argument raised, which ends at this point: laziness. It causes laziness. Then this part that says discuss both sides of this argument and give your own opinion is not meant to be copied onto your answer sheet. It is expected that you should act on it. So that's what you're supposed to now write on. Okay? Now your paraphrase should just end at this point, and that's exactly what we did right here. So we paraphrased this question and we brought it down to this part. Now paraphrasing, what we did was we rephrased this same question onto our answer sheet in a way that it still retains the original information, right? Without having any form of ambiguity, without bringing in something that is not here, and without omitting what is here. So we just replicated the same question but using substitute words for the key words in the question. Okay, so let's look at what we were able to do yesterday. We simply paraphrase by saying a number of, and that was used to represent some. A number of individuals, people, debate that, argue that granting children access to technological gadgets, that is, giving children access to computer, aids them, helps them in their cognitive and educational performance, aids them to improve in their intellectual and academic performance, right? Then the full stop was changed to comma. That's what we have right here. Then others, before we brought in others, we decided to bring in what we call linking words. The linking words would join these first argument and the second argument in a way that it will now become one sentence, but still establishing the two factions. So we used whereas. Now the comma was applied. Whereas, which is a contradicting linking word, was brought in, then another comma also stepped in. Then others continued. Others opine it leads to indolence. It causes laziness. So you realize that we are able to repeat the question but not using the same words all through. So we had to substitute or change some of the keywords in the original question using their synonyms, right? So at the end of paraphrasing, we had to now plan our essay by understanding what we are supposed to do. Here it says discuss both sides of this argument. Now, discussing both sides of this argument, you are expected to bring out two different points. One to support these first people, another one to support this one that says it causes laziness. So you have to generate two very strong points for each of those two factions. So we did that, and each of the points we drafted out yesterday, we also attached an example that we intend to use to buttress the point. Right? So after doing that, we also looked at the question. We realized that it says, and give your own opinion. So we had to think of an opinion that would be best for this. Now in IELTS, nobody is going to penalize you for giving an opinion that is one-sided. It is left to you. It says your own opinion. So whatever opinion you're bringing up is based on your own thoughts. So it's not a crime if you choose to support a particular path and leave the other. But for me, I always feel it is better to actually raise an opinion that would balance the two sides without kicking one side out and taking or sticking to one. So I always love it if an opinion balances the two sides. Okay? So that's what we actually considered. So while planning our essay yesterday, we had to also draft out the opinion. Now, all of the plannings we did, or you should do on the day of your exam, is supposed to be done on your question paper as a rough work. You planning your essay is just similar to when you are given a mathematics question to solve, and you choose to do a rough calculation or rough work of that particular question before now doing it on your answer paper so it appears neat, right? So that's what you're supposed to do on your question paper on the day of the exam. It will help you to have points that will not interfere or will not interrelate, because if you don't settle down to plan your essay, because of the exam condition you'll be in, you would unconsciously repeat same point in diverse ways. So your two paragraphs will end up discussing the same point but in different ways. And IELTS examiners, while marking that, will always detect that these points are similar. So you are treating one question. So it is better to actually plan your essay on your question paper as a rough work. And for that, you also need to bring in your opinion still on your question paper as rough work. So once that is done, you then have to go back to your answer paper. And that's what we did yesterday. After planning all our essay, drafting out our points, attaching examples to each, bringing out our opinion, we then have to come back to our answer sheet to establish our thesis background statement. Now at this point, we are very confident that we know what we are about to do. We have actually planned our essay. We have actually understood what is best for this particular question. So we are confident and would simply say, in this essay, right? So that's what you are expected to do. Okay, so having done that, we then have to write. So what did we write yesterday? On the board we have all that we wrote yesterday, and this is our thesis background statement. Here it says, in this essay, I will be writing to vividly discuss the two arguments raised above? Because the question says, instruction says, discuss both sides of this argument. So if you are able to draft out your opinions, if you're able to draft your opinion rather, if you're able to draft out your points, it is now time for you to say, this is what my essay would be, because you already have the points on ground. Okay? So at that point, you now say, in this essay, I will be writing to vividly discuss the two arguments raised above. Now we have to close that thesis background statement with a semicolon and not with a full stop. Then after that, our opinion came in, and that's where we started with, meanwhile, in my experiential opinion, I strongly believe that inasmuch as the benefits of giving children access to computer can never be overemphasized, as it does not only boost their vocabularies and communication skills, it also enhances their coding and robotic skills and mastery. Notwithstanding, it is pertinent to monitor the activities of children on the gadgets by activating parental controls in order to prevent the abuse of such privilege. Now, at this point, our paragraph 1 is completely done, right? So that is how to go to prepare your paragraph 1, right? So after your paragraph 1, you then want to go to your paragraph 2. Now for paragraph 2, you are looking at picking up the first point. And the first point would be written as the beginning of your paragraph 2. That would constitute your topic sentence. Right? So let me show you how you can begin your P2, which is paragraph 2. So for your paragraph 2, the topic sentence we had, or we brought out yesterday, was puzzles. Okay. So right there on the board, I have my topic sentence, which is supposed to help me, increase on my, improve on, which is aimed at improving on both the pronunciations, spoken English, as well as the written version. Now, these are some of the things that the word puzzle can help you achieve. Okay, so I want to understand if you are opportuned, if you are privileged to think out this particular point as what you like to treat. What would you say about it? What can you say about it? Mastery of word puzzles to aid in building vocabularies aimed at improving on both pronunciations, spoken English, as well as written expressions. Now, when you have this, basically, you would realize that yes, when children are given access to gadgets, on their gadgets or tablets, there are different academic applications installed on the gadget. some of which would be list of different words according to their age. List of different words, how they are spelled, the root word, their pronunciations, the application in spoken English, as well as the application in the written English, and how to use them to construct excellent sentences. Now, this sort of apps, when a child gets into using this particular app, you realize that yes, that child will definitely gain mastery. The child will definitely gain mastery of that particular aspect of his academic pursuits. So, you now begin to talk about it. Now, what we have written right there is just the topic sentence. So, when you have that topic sentence, you begin to explain what this means. Like what I've just given us, the little hint I've given. You practically need to explain it in detail, and you are expected to cite an example where someone you know or have seen or watched or heard about got engaged with such apps, and the person actually improved greatly, using that particular thing, building different vocabularies which would aid the child to express him or herself both in the spoken version as well as the written English. So these are things you really want to look at. So when you explain this, ensure to bring in date, ensure to bring in location, ensure to bring in the name of the child, ensure to talk about the age of the child, ensure to talk about the class the child was at that point, ensure to look at the performance of the child, how the child increased, the rates of improvement the child achieved or attained while the gadget was introduced to that child. So when all of these are factored in, that will be your body paragraph. Second point is on addiction to gadgets, which often brings about inability to think critically and logically, especially in academic activities. Now, right there on the board, if you look at this particular topic, it's supporting the group of people that say giving children access to computers causes laziness. So this is what I think that laziness is related to: addiction. It's more like a relatable situation right here. At home, you would notice that children who got introduced to gadgets at quite early age are often addicted to that gadget. That, for instance, if that gadget is taken from a child, you see the child throwing lots of tantrums, right? So it's usually very obtainable in this generation. And then a lot of children who are so engrossed and addicted to the gadgets will end up not being able to actually think on their own without consulting the gadget. So they lose that window of critical and logical thinking. So they are unable to solve practical or critical problems because they have developed great level of reliance on the gadget. Okay? And some people, not just children, not children based on young age, you also realize that certain adults would actually get addicted to their own gadgets as well. Let's take, for instance, there are adults, adults. When I mean children, I don't just mean the toddlers or adolescents or teenagers, even adults who are still children. And most children also get addicted to their games, PS5. that they stay up at night playing games all through till the early hours of the morning. Okay? And when that happens, during the day, such a person becomes indolent, lazy, because you were up all through the night. So during the daytime, you end up sleeping and snoring all through. So you are unable to achieve nothing. Right? So you don't get to achieve anything tangible because you were preoccupied with activities at night, which was simply playing games. Right? So at this point, it will also affect the person when the person is supposed to be productive. Of course, productivity will require critical thinking. So the person actually fails in that aspect. Some other category of children may be so engrossed in their phone that they engage in lots of video calls for hours and they become addicted to it. Some people get engrossed in their gadget that they get carried away by some of the content they watch. For instance, pornographic content, adult video, they get engrossed in it and it begins to affect them emotionally. So these are things you want to talk about to support this group that says it causes laziness, right? So you establish some of these key or salient points and then cite an example of something or someone that went through this situation and how it affected the person. Then you come to your fourth paragraph. At this point, I am very confident that you must have written so much. You must have written so much. So my fourth paragraph, I will simply say, in light of the above. Now, this is the expression I would love to use to begin my paragraph 4 because I've written so much already. I have written and gotten up to like 250 words and above. Then I don't want to overflog my essay. I don't want to make it so lengthy. So what I will do is I simply say in light of the above for my paragraph 4. Now writing in light of the above, it simply means having written all above, I therefore recommend strongly that you go straight to the opinion that you wrote in your paragraph 4. Pardon me, that you wrote in your paragraph 1. The opinion you wrote in your paragraph 1, you get to bring it down to your paragraph 4 after writing in light of the above. But you don't bring down that opinion verbatim. You don't have to bring it down verbatim. All you need to do is bring down that opinion that you have written in paragraph 1 in a rephrased manner. Okay? So in a rephrased manner, you break down the opinion, and that would help you to also avoid repetitions. It will also help you to show off more vocabularies. Okay? So at that point, you have completed your essay. At that point, you have actually completed your essay. Right? So please, this is how your essay should look like. This is how your essay should look like. Kindly let me know if you have any question. Right? If you have any question, please do let me know. Let me attend to your question and then we proceed with the rest of the session. All right, Daisy, are you there? Daisy, can you hear me? Hello, Daisy, can you hear me? Okay, so at this point, we are going straight into practical exercise. I'm going to write a question on the board, and I will advise that you treat that question as a task right about now. In 40 minutes, I would want you to send in the task which you would develop in the next 40 minutes. I would also take a few minutes to go through your essay and revert back to you on the evaluation of what you have written. So quickly, I'm going to drop a question right here for you. So please, do well to set your time for 40 minutes after copying the question. All right, so let's get this question. All right, so right here on the board, we have this question. Please, we are going to treat this question in the next 40 minutes. So I want to request that you get your writing materials wherever you are. Please treat this question and forward to me. If you're writing on the if you're following right there on the YouTube platform, you can send me a copy of your essay to this email. Please send your solved essay of this question to this email. I will find time to evaluate your essay. Then others, please, you would quickly submit after 40 minutes. Our time starts now. At this point, I will end the session and then revert back to us after 40 minutes. Thank you so much for today. The essay time has started. You are to spend 40 minutes to treat this essay question. Send your solved essay to, if you're viewing from the YouTube platform, solve this essay question and send your answer to this email address right here. I will evaluate your essay. I'll get back to you by evaluating your essay. Please ensure to spend just 40 minutes, and you are required to spend only 40 minutes. You are also meant to write at least 250 words. Do not write less than 250. Please write at least 250 words. Please, if you're on YouTube, kindly subscribe to this channel and click on the like button. It will help the YouTube to also recommend people to join the live session. Please, just do a subscription for us on the channel and like the channel as well. Like this video and do your essay. Send your essay to this email address. Thank you so much. In 40 minutes, I will revert back to us.